Okay, we are ready to go on our field trip using Google Earth. So we're going to zoom in. Here is home sweet home, planet Earth. And we're going to come on in closer. Ooh, wrong way. Here we go. Ooh, now we can see the United States. And before this was the United States, the Native American people lived here all over. And we're going to talk about this area, which we call California now, and we live right about here in the desert. We are going to begin, though, with the forest area way up in Northern California. So I'm going to bring this over here so we have a better landing place. Here we go. We're going to take a look down in here, and we're going to see what we can find in the way of resources. We're getting closer. Here we go. Wow, I'm starting to be able to see rivers and all these mountains and valleys. Let's get closer to this area. I found a really great spot right next to this river. It's really beautiful to look at. Now, we are going to see some streets and highways, and we're going to see some cars. And we are going to ignore them and pretend like we are Native Americans. Here we go. Wow. So here we are in a forest, and we can take a look around because this is such a great tool to use, Google Earth. We can look over here. We can even look way up here. Wow, look at all these different kinds of trees. I see some pine trees, probably cedar trees and oak trees. And all these trees would have been a way for Native Americans to get wood and grasses. And we're going to pretend like that car is not there. And wow, when we look over here, what do we see? This river, because water is also a very important resource. So this is what it would have been like in the forest. Wonder if I can get closer. Okay, so let's say goodbye to the forest. Let's go back up. See you later. Now, if I click on my icon here, I have a picture of a Native American with a few things from the forest. The animals would have been a big resource for the people living here. Look, he's got an antler from a deer, probably. He has a fox or a coyote pelt that he wears. They would have used this for warmth. And he's wearing hide clothing. And look, these Native Americans in the forest would have used bows and arrows, which are made from wood and parts of animals to make the string. And look at the stone arrowheads they would have used. All these things are resources. And look, I have a video of a man shooting his arrow with his bow. Let's watch. It's in slow motion. Pretty neat. There he goes. I love the feather that he has, the headpiece that he has. Very cool. So, lots of natural resources, water, plants, and animals. Okay, goodbye, forests. We are going to go to our next stop. So let's fly back. Look at all that green. Ooh, let's make sure we're right side up too. That's better. Next, we're going to come down into the valleys and mountains. California has a huge valley right down the middle. You can kind of see it here. Here it is, the Central Valley. And today it's where we grow most of our produce, our fruits and vegetables and nuts. So let's come on in. If you are a Native American living in this area, you had a lot of resources here as well. Let's get closer. And we're going to land here and check it out. Have a look around. Trying to navigate here. Great. We're going to drop ourselves right down here. Let's take a look around. Now this looks similar to the forest, and some trees might be different. Wow, look at these. I feel that it's not as thick as the forest. And there still would be streams or rivers around for the Native Americans to use. And they have oak trees as well. Look at these beautiful oak trees. And lots of grasses and pine trees. And something that these people did. Oh, look, there's a dragonfly. And something that these people did with the pine needles is that they wove baskets. And you have actually held one of those. We passed them around. So here we go. We are actually going to back out again. We're going to take a little look at my marker. Now, if we look closely at this picture, we can see these nice big baskets here. They did not go to Target to buy these baskets. They made them. And look at all these grasses that they have here to make their home. And they also had acorns from all the oak trees. And you know what an acorn is because you just held some in the basket. And now we're going to watch this lady. She knows how to grind acorns, so let's watch. All right, so that's how they would do it. And here's a stone version of what she was doing here. She was using a basket to help her keep everything in the middle. So here are the natives of the valleys and mountains. Let's go to our next destination, which is the sea coast. So we have to fly way back. There it is. Let's come on in. Whoa. Okay, I found a great spot for us to take a look by the sea coast. Look, do you see the waves now? It's getting closer. Wow, if you were a Native American, this would have been where you could gather all kinds of clams and Maybe the sea otters would come up here. I see seaweed over here. That would have been a great natural resource. Let's get closer. Wow. Let's hang out right here for a minute. Check it out. Okay. Let's have a look around. Definitely not as many trees as our forests or our mountains. I see trees back there. Lots of grass. Lots of grass to use to make our house. And if we turn this way, we see the beautiful ocean. Native Americans used the ocean as a huge natural resource. There it is. So let's back up and check out what the marker says. That is a great view right there. Okay, so let's look at this Native American who would have lived by the seacoast. We can see in this picture the shells that she has decorating her headband. She has different kind of seashells hanging around her neck. And look at these baskets. She may have used grasses to make these or seaweed. Okay, let's come down here. Here we are again, seaweed or these grasses to make their houses. And then down here, we're going to take a look at a basket weaver. So she would have used grasses or maybe any kind of pine tree. So for each stitch, I need to poke a tiny hole with this awl and then push the weaving strand through before that hole closes up. And not only that, but afterwards I need to kind of adjust the stitch, make sure that all the stitches are sitting evenly spaced and that they're sitting straight. So it's a very slow process. Sometimes I need to poke that hole again because the stitch just doesn't want to go through. And at the same time, I'm also being careful not to separate or split the weaving material on the back side, which is why there's a lot of detailed little things to pay attention to. And then, as I'm weaving, I also need to keep all of the materials dampened so that when I do poke the hole with the awl, that I'm not splitting and breaking the materials because, of course, they're brittle when they're dry. Okay. So we got to see a basket weaver. Well, thank you, Seacoast. Now we're going to go to our last stop. So we have to fly up. We're going to stop in the desert, and that is where we live. So I'm going to adjust, and we're going to fly and zoom on into the desert. We're going to take a look around and talk about some of those resources. Sure don't see a lot of green. Okay, let's drop down in here and see what we can see. Right here. Wow, kind of looks like home. Let's take a look. Well, we see some bushes, some brush. We see the mountains around. See some little Joshua trees. Some sagebrush. Now I know that as you drive to school some days, you might see jackrabbits hopping across the road. You might see quail, little birds. And that's exactly what our Native American people would have eaten living here in the desert. Also, what do we see around us? What do we have so much of? Dirt. And the Native American people out here would have used this dirt to make clay and pottery. So let's zoom back out a little bit and let's see what our place marker has to say. Here is a happy picture of a Serrano girl. Serrano is the name of the tribe that lived where we live today. Have you heard the word Serrano before? I know you have. So here she is. And we can see here she has some braided cord, maybe made from the grasses that grow in the desert. We're very familiar with all those. And here is this woman here, and she is a potter. And if you will look behind her, you can see the row of pottery that she's made. She's using the coil pot method, and here is a great video of somebody doing that. Let's watch. I'm going to fast forward through some parts of this because it's a little longer than I'd like. So here she begins by actually finding a good area of clay, natural clay. Clay would have been a resource, and she dug out the pieces, and here she's breaking them apart to make them smaller. They're getting some more. And what she's going to do is she's going to come back and she's going to sift out rocks, break everything down. And here she's adding water, sifting out rocks, making a nice powdery layer. Like if you're making dough, you put down flour before you roll it out. That's just exactly what she did. And here she's mixing the water in. She's making the clay. Now it's time for her to begin making her pot. So she took a nice ball of clay, and you can tell already she has a simple tool that she smooths the sides down with. I'm going to take this a little further so we can see. It gets bigger and bigger. She's adding a coil to make it even taller. I think she's had a lot of practice. And look at all the things she's already made. Just going to put that right there. Okay, so I'm going to stop it right there. We're going to look one more time at our Serrano native, the people that were here before we came. So think about all the resources that the Native Americans of California used in the forests and in the mountains and valleys and on the sea coast and even way out in the desert.